Good day, everyone. We are group number 3, and I am Revelin El Resalva. Our topic for today is about gutter flow and inlet, and we have three subtopic, which is roadway gutters, types of inlet, design, spacing, and locations. So gutters flow and inlet. A gutter is a triangle open channel along the curbstone of streets which carry the storm water along streets into inlets. And makikita nyo naman sa figure natin yung itsura ng gutters. And gutters successfully help to drain water that slides down from the other side of pavement, thus preventing water from entering the pavement area. Inlets are structures constructed in the street along the curbstone or across the street to allow water to infer from the gutter to the underground storm collection system. So, yung definition ng inlet is an opening or a thin strip water that comes from a larger body of water. And mamaya, i-discuss yung types of inlets. So, flow capacity is controlled at the entrance by the headwater depth, cross-sectional area, and type of inlet edge. Culverts under inlet control will always flow partially full and are in state of shallow, high velocity known as supercritical flow. Purpose of roadway gutter system. A street gutter is a depression that runs parallel to a road and is designed to collect rainwater that flows along the street, diverting it into a storm drain. A gutter elevates water build-up on the street, allows pedestrians to pass without walking through puddles, and reduce the risk of hydroplaning by the road vehicles. So why is the road drainage system important or roadway gutter system? So, una na doon is yung traffic safety. Poor drainage is a safety issue. Water may accumulate on a road like it does in ponds. Any accumulated water creates a risk of hydroplaning when the roads have rain on them. So, yung di magandang pag-design ng drainage system or roadway gutter is isa sa mga nakakapag-cause ng pagbaha kasi hindi tama yung alignment ng construction ng roadway gutter or drainage system. Importance of inlets. Inlets are important connection between estuaries, lagoons, and the open coast, but they are also instrumental mechanism in the along-shore transport of sediment.
So next is roadway gutter. Roadway gutter is a simple form of above ground drainage for use on streets and squares. The street's profile can be identical to a conventional solution with storm drains, but then without loud drains and with a slightly deeper gutter. The curb and gutter are installed along the length of the road. The main purpose of providing a curb and gutter is to strengthen the pavement of the road. So basically, curb and gutter are usually installed in the perimeter of the roads or parking lots. So basically, siya yung structure na diadaluyan ng tubig upang hindi maipon yung tubig sa mismong roads. So kasi pwede siya makasira ng mga pavements pag na-impact siya doon. So yung curve is a small wall that serves to hold the pavement from the sides as a barrier. So between the yard and road. So siya yung naghahati doon sa dalawa sa between yard and sa road. So type of curb and gutter. The curb and gutter can be constructed in various shape, size. The curb are generally classified according to their shape and size. The various type of size are as the following. So dito di-discuss yung mga iba't ibang uri ng barrier curb and gutter sa makikita natin sa roads. So ito yung sa picture, ito yung regular or common na makikita natin sa mismong road. So barrier curb and gutter. The barrier curb and gutter is one of the commonly used in sidewalk and parking space. Its name itself suggests that it is a curb that is constructed from a barrier in order to separate vehicle and sidewalk or parking lots. Barrier curb and gutter are generally made up cement, concrete, and asphalts and aggregates. Next is mower curb and gutter. Mower curbs are generally used in the garden and the areas where lawns or flowering are done. This type of curb and gutter have a decorative look which provides a strong protective barrier between the walkway and the green soil. This type of curb comes with various types of colors and design and serve as the decorative functions. So basically, yung mower curbs is nagsisilbi siyang barrier between the lawns of flower area and the roads. So next is mountable curb and gutter. Mountable curb are the type of curve that is slight dip on the face of the curb. This type of curve allows the vehicle to drive easily from the road surface. So yung mountable curve is sometimes referred as roll curves, having a slope face that allow vehicle to encroach on them without damaging tires and wheels. So next one is slanted curve and gutter. Slanted curve are usually ornament curves and which is generally installed to attract more attention to the structure. Slanted curve do not have any practical purposes. They are only used to enhance beauty. They are most used to decorative purposes. So yung slanted curve is which is hindi naman wala naman siyang practical purposes. So parang regular na curves lang siya na pinaganda lang. So slanted curve do not have any practical purposes. Instead, they enhance the aesthetic appearance of surroundings. They are purely decorative and ornamental curves. The last one is monolithic curve and gutter. Monolithic curves are also known as integral curves, which are designed in such a way that is the joints between the curves cast onto a concrete slab. The monolithic curve is connected with the roadway. Monolithic curve are also the type of curves that are constructed with the road and the type of level of the type of curves are matched to create more traction. This will make it simple and easy for the vehicle to pass without any damage to the internal structure of the foundation of concrete. The monolithic curves develop a smooth transition into the road as compared to the other types of curves. So yung monolithic curves are constructed or fused with the road and the top level are matched to create more traction and make it easier for larger vehicle to pass without damaging the internal structure or foundation of the asphalt or concrete. So here's the advantage of the curve and gutter. The curve improves the efficiency of the road and sweepers while centering the debris. Curves enhance the beauty of the parking lots and streets. Second, a third is curves are also acts as back support to the pavement of the roads. Fourth is gutter help in the effective drainage of water which slides down from the surface of the pavement. Five is concrete curves have a reflect surface which helps to improve visibility at night and avoid accidents. Then six is curve form a close boundary which will help to improve the compaction of the concrete during the construction of the road and helps to maintain the integrity of edge. So here's the disadvantage of the curves and gutter. So first is the construction of the curb and gutter requires skills, workmanship. Second is there are chances that get choked up in the monsoon which may lead to water accumulation on the road surface.
My name is Julian Naku. I'm going to discuss this topic, the entitled types of inlet. From the word in and let, this is also say that na yung pagpasok ng water sa drainage natin or yung mismong pasukan ng mga tubig ulan na ginagamit or tubig ulan na nakukuha natin from the storm. So, ano nga ba yung inlet? So, drain inlet collect water from road and parking lots and conveying into an underground storm drain system. So, yun nga. So, yung sinasabi lang dito na ito yung tagakuha ng water or ng tubig ulan going to the underground storm drain system. So the remainder of the section provides description of the required data for the types of inlet you can model. Manhole, although not actually an inlet, it is the default structure and it has no data requirements. It should be noted that Stormwater Studio will allow you to model an entire system using the only manholes. That is, any junction can be a manhole while having a drainage area round of coefficient TC and or known Q flows will enter the pipe system, but there will be no inlet or gutter analysis associated with it. This may be an advantage when your inlet requirements have been met and you're only interested in the pipe hydraulics. So the first type of inlet is the curved inlet. Curved inlet are the two workhorse horses of the industry. Found, they are the most effective of all street type. So, ito yung makikita natin lagi sa mga kalsada natin. Kung makikita kayo ng mga road widening, is the curve inlet yung most na nilalagay doon. So, mapapansin natin yun. And yet, a high the rating of the capture capacity, they are the most effective in sags and when on grades or less than about 3%. A typically curved opening inlet will have a rectangular opening along the base of the curve to which it attached. Curved inlet have horizontal and 45-degree inclined throat opening. So, meron itong two types. Is yung curved inlet having two times na horizontal and the incline having 45 degree. This data item is fixed for the inlet of this type is a given project and can be set in the default on the ribbon. So, ito yung mga example or the type of this design ng inclined throat and horizontal throat. So, makikita natin dito yung inclined throat, yung eto yan. Tapos, eto naman yung horizontal throat. So, next is the inlet length ng curve. Enter the total horizontal length of the opening by setting this value to zeros. Stormwater Studio will automatically design it for 100% capture. For throat height, for horizontal throat, this is the height of the opening and the measure from the project of cross slope, SX. Do not include any local dispersion amount. See gutter for more information. So, makikita nyo sa previous report, throat height, inclined naman to. This is the height of the opening and is measured perpendicular to the throat opening angle, assumed to be 45 degree. Do not, like the horizontal throat, do not include any local dispersion amount. So, second type ng inlet natin is the GRATE inlet. So, ito yung GRATE inlet. So, makita nyo meron siyang sala-sala. Makita nyo yan. GRATE inlet are the deceiving in that they appear to be able to capture a lot of round up because they are flush to the gutter. But in fact, they are the least effective. So, ito kung yung curve inlet natin is most effective. At have great effective. Ito naman is a least effective among the street inlet. When using this, don't expect to get much round-up removal, especially when employed on the grade. The problem in that the capture capacity is dependent on the upstream spread with the typically substantially wider than the grate width. The portion of the spread that exceeds the grate width just passes on by, not giving the grate a chance to capture it and closing in the major issue with this aspect. So makita natin dito na meron siyang parang sala-sala or filter. Actually, hindi lahat na filter, pero yung pagpasok ng water is hindi ganun ka-effective kumpara dun sa curved inlet natin kanina. So opening area, enter the clear opening area of the grate required only in sags. Grate width and length. Enter the width and length of the gate. Set the length to the zero automatic design. The program will besize inlet for 100% capture when the storm waters studio designed for the grate in gas, including combination inlet. It size the grate opening area using the grate design depth in the ribbon menu inlet tab. So yung kanina natin is curved inlet and grate inlet. So yung third natin is will be called combination inlet. So yung combination inlet natin, makikita natin sa figure, may kasama siyang curved inlet and grate inlet. So makikita natin dito, may sala-sala, tapos open pa siya dito. Combination inlet can capture up to 18% more flow than a standard alone grate inlet. Due to their ability to remove debris from the grate, combination inlet require the same input data of the curve and grate inlet. Combination inlet are assumed to be horizontal throat openings, no inclined throat. So, only horizontal throat lang yung pwedeng iano sa kanya. Per Hec 22, the capacity of the combination inlet on the grate is equal to the grate alone, and that the curve opening is used to collect and remove debris. Capacity is computed by the neglecting the curve opening. So, mas more ito yung pinaka, or hindi naman ito yung pinaka, pero mas effective siya dun sa dalawang nauna. Kasi nga combination siya ng curve inlet and the grate inlet. So, combination sweeper inlet. So, eto na. Note that you may enter unique length for the grate and curve opening. When the curve opening length is longer than the grate length, the program assumes the open curve portion to be located upstream of the grate, often called sweeper inlet. The sweeper inlet has interception capacity equal to the sum of the curved inlet upstream of the grate plus the grate capacity. The grate capacity of sweeper inlet is reduced by the interception of the upstream curve opening. So for the last type of inlet is called drop curve inlet. So yung etong drop curve inlet natin, makikita natin siya dito para ito yung from the word drop. Makikita natin siya dito na triangle tapos having many sides, diba, of inlet. So ito yung drop curve inlet. Drop curve inlet are the type of curve inlet used in sags in opening yards area. So, ito yung mga opening area na ginagamitan natin. Siguro ito yung pang malawakan. Ito yung mga pang, hindi naman siguro. Surely na ito yung ginagamit sa mga pang malawakang yard area. So, pwede itong ilagay sa, hindi lang to pang gilid pwede din ito sa gitna, ganon. Kasi nga having four sides of the opening, they typically having four sides with the rectangular openings. Like what I said, note that the length of enter should be equal to the sum of the four opening sides and that compound cross slope are not allowed. SW is not required input. So hindi din required yung SW. Drop curve intel are by far the most effective of all inlets. So, ito yung pinaka-effective, most effective inlet na to sa pagkuha ng mga water, They borrow from their curved inlet cousin but have a much higher capture capacity due to their four sides. So, kung kumpara dun sa previous natin kanina na yung curved inlet only having one opening sides lang siya, So, eto 4, parang 4 times nun yung makukuha. The cross slope can be greater because they are not contained by common curve or gutter standard. So, ayun lang po yun. Thank you. That's all.
Good day everyone. Natapos na po sa types ng gutter and inlet. Ngayon po data ko naman po tayo sa design, spacing, and location. By the way, ako nga po pala si Arnel GRA Santos from Bsce 4A Group 3. Ayun. Ano nga ba yung design, spacing, and location? Usually sa inlet and gutter, ang location, ang design niyan is always nakasag or naka-slope para yung tubig hindi magiging stagnant sa isang lugar o kaya sa isang area. Kumbaga dapat naka-slope para tuloy-tuloy yung agos ng tubig papunta sa drainage. So this is the overview of designing inlet. Number 1, road and highways must include sufficient drainage provision in order to minimize the dangers resulting from stormwater runoff and to optimize traffic efficiency under most weather condition. Ayun. Yung pagde-design nga daw po is ng inlet is sufficient siya sa drainage provision. So ano nga ba yung drainage provision? Ito po yung provide niya po yung mga maaaring daanan ng tubig kapag kung sakaling malakas yung ulan or nagkaroon ng baha. And then minimize niya daw po yung yun nga po yung dangers from stormwater runoff. Kumbaga tuloy-tuloy yung tubig, hindi po siya magiging stagnant sa isang area. Kumbaga tuloy-tuloy po yung flow papuntang drainage. So, yun nga po, dapat naka-slope nga rin po yung inlet talaga. And to optimize traffic efficiency under most weather condition. Yun nga po. Di ba, karamihan sa isang highway, kapag barado yung inlet or drainage is nagkakaroon ng baha. Ayun. Kapag maganda yung design ng inlet mo is ma-optimize mo nga yung traffic. Kumbaga hindi po babain ang isang highway kapag maganda yung design ng inlet or walang barado. Or tuloy-tuloy yung tubig kahit na ganong kalakas yung ulan. And then number 2, minimize the spread of water across a roadway in the gutter. Ayun. Yung minimize din niya yung pagtaas ng tubig sa roadway and in the gutter. So hindi nga daw po hindi po magkakaroon ng stagnant water po doon sa roadway and sa gutter. Kumbaga nasa isang flow lang po sila. The gutter is the channel alongside the road through which storm runoff is conveyed to storm sewer inlets. Number 4. Spread is the top width of the flowing water on the road. Measure from the curve. So yung pagtaas nga daw po yung tubig is pwede nating ma-measure sa curve. So ano nga ba yung spread? Spread length. The allowable spread length nga daw po is generally determined by state or local regulation based on road classification. Yung nga po, yung allowable spread length nga po ng isang area is based on the road classification. Well, in the last, inlets in SAG are located at a point where runoff from given area will ultimately collect, and these inlets are normally designed to capture 100% of surface flow. Otherwise, get flooding. Ayan. Yung inlet SAG nga daw po is located siya sa runoff na given area. Kumbaga, yung pagiging sag nga po ay nasa isang area punta sa inlet, yung sag or yung slope or yung tinatawag nilang klebe sa construction word. Yun nga po yung klebe para hindi ma-stuck yung tubig sa isang lugar. Ayun po yung para makapture ng inlets lahat ng tubig, pero depende kapag mas malakas yung baha. So, hindi na po kakayanin yun pag masyadong malakas, pero makakatulong po yung mga inlet para bumaba yung tubig. So, inlet spacing nga daw po is, number 1, inlet spacing is controlled by site geometry, inlet opening capacity, and contributing watershed. Number 2, placement is generally a trial and error process that attempts to optimize hydraulic and economic efficiency. So, nagkakaroon din po tayo ng experimental or experiment dito sa inlet spacing para ma-obtain po natin yung hydraulic efficiency and economic efficiency. Kailangan po natin ma-obtain, meron tayong experiment na gagawin or tinatawag trial and error. So, kapag pumasa po yung ginawa natin is magiging economic and hydraulic efficiency nga po siya. And number 3, based on geometric controls and design spread. Sa susunod pong slide is tatakal po natin yung dalawang ito, geometric and design spread. Geometric controls. An inlet is required at the uppermost point in the gutter where gutter capacity criteria are violated. So, yun nga po yung nire-required po ng inlet na nasa highest point po ng gutter. And then yung gutter capacity is pwedeng masira. Inlets are normally used at intersection to prevent stress cross-flow that could cause pedestrian or vehicular hazard. These inlets should be close to 100% effective. Ayan. Yung inlets nga daw po is laging ginagamit sa intersection. So, kaya po pala lagi nating nakikita yung mga inlets sa edging or corner ng intersection kasi mas safe po ito sa sa mga dumadaan o sa mga motorista. These inlets should be close to 100% effective. Ayun nga po, 100 effective nga daw kapag naging nasa intersection. Inlets are also required where the street slope begins super elevate again to prevent cross flow that can create hydroplaning and icing hazard. Ayun. Super elevate, sabi nga nila, para yung yung tubig is tuloy-tuloy. Para hindi magkaroon ng hydroplaning o biglang bugso ng tubig. So, an icing hazard. So, icing is wala naman po sa atin dito. Maybe sa ibang bansa. Design spread. Criterion for locating inlets with windows required by geometric or other controls. So, criterion nga daw po is lolocate nyo yung inlets nyo between sa mga nire-required ng geometric saka ng other control or ng guidelines. Spacing on continuous grade is functioning upstream bypass flow tributary drainage area and gutter geometry. Ere nga po pala yung location of inlet. Ngayon, ito po, yung inlet is nakalocate po siya dun sa tabi ng gutter and curb. Then, meron po siyang butas. Then, meron pong slope na dalawa na para hindi po mabagal yung flow ng tubig. Ibig sabihin, tuloy-tuloy po. Then, sa baba naman, meron tayong mahabang inlet. Bali, kailangan din talaga naka-slope siya papunta doon sa inlet para hindi talaga ma-stuck yung tubig sa isang area. Tapos na po pala tayo sa inlet ng space, design, and location. Ngayon, dadako na po tayo sa curb and gutter design. Yung curb and gutter design nga po is usually magka-connect po sila ng inlet. Ito po yung tumutulong para yung tubig is guide. Parang guide din po to para yung tubig is pumunta dun sa inlet. Then, ito nga po yung curb and gutter design. Curves with vertical or almost vertical face are commonly referred to as barriers or non-mountable curves. Yung barriers, ito nga pong curve is like barriers, kaso maliit nga lang pero ice lang kasi pang tubig lang naman or pang storm water. Barriers. Number 2, a slope face curve permits motor vehicles to transvert it at a modest pace. On large suburban thoroughfares, slanted curves are most commonly used. Ayun nga po, para hindi ganun kadelikado is laging ang ginagamit sa atin or lagi natin nakikita is slanted curve. Kasi nga din po, pag sa mga sasakyan is, halimbawa na gutter, kapag masyadong matalim yung gutter, may tendency na masira yung gulong. Then, kaya ginagawa po yung slanted na ganito. Para hindi po delikado. Curves and gutter creates a channel for runoff directed into collecting areas such as storm drains and sewers. Ayan nga po. Yung curves are composed of variety of materials including asphalt, stone, or masonry blocks but are most commonly formed of Portland cement. Dito sa Pilipinas ay laging ginagamit po is Portland cement. Gagawa na lang po sila pang forma tapos pwede din silang gumawa ng pre-fabricated pero gawa din siya sa Portland cement. Ayun nga po yung location of curbs and gutter. Curb and gutter are usually installed in the perimeter of the road or parking lot. The curb is a small wall that serves to hold the pavement from the sides, acts as a barrier between the yard and the road. So yung curb and gutter nga daw po is laging ina-attach sa perimeter of the road or parking lot or sa gilid. Kumbaga, ito yung magsaserve para barrier or yard ng isang daan. Yun nga po, makakatulong din to sa inlet para kasi meron din po siyang pantulong para yung tubig is pumunta sa maayos na daluyan ng tubig or drainage. para hindi po kalat-kalat kung saan pupunta yung tubig kapag merong storm water. So, tapos na po tayo sa location. Ngayon naman po is spacing and curves and gutter. When concrete curb and gutter is constructed adjacent to concrete pavement, the transverse joint spacing of the curb and gutter shall be coincide with that of the concrete pavement. When concrete curb and gutter is constructed adjacent to asphalt pavement, transverse joints shall have a uniform spacing not exceeding 5 meters. Yun. So, meron tayong spacing na hindi lalagpas nga po sa 5 meters kapag in-attach po natin to or in-install natin yung curbs and gutter. Ayun, tapos na po yung report namin and then thank you po sa pakikinig. God bless.